Now we start with U.S. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries has accused U.S. President Donald Trump and congressional Republicans of intentionally blocking the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. As a prolonged government shutdown stretches into its 34th day, Republicans and Democrats are in a disagreement in Congress over an extension of federal funding, but Democrats have backed demanding that any federal funding plan also include an extension of enhanced Obamacare health insurance subsidies, which are set to expire. But last week, two federal courts ruled that the Trump administration will send only partial payments to 42 million Americans who rely on food stamps to buy groceries. Let's listen into what the Democrat minority leader has said.
This is day 34 of the Trump Republican shutdown, and our position as Democrats remain the same. We will sit down with any Republican who is prepared in good faith to find a bipartisan path forward to reopening the government, to entering into a spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people, not worse, and that decisively addresses the Republican health care crisis. At the same period of time, it's extraordinary that Donald Trump, his administration, and corrupt Republicans on Capitol Hill are voluntarily and intentionally withholding SNAP benefits from 42 million Americans who are at risk of going hungry. This includes 16 million children. This is an intentional decision.
Now for this discussion, we welcome Matthew Badham. He's an American journalist, joins us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much, Matthew, for joining us again. Good to see you. Matthew, what more can you tell us about this situation that's unfolding with the ongoing government shutdown? And how is this reshaping public perception of both major parties' handling of social welfare?
I don't know how it is reshaping public perception of the parties. I do know how what has happened recently. Two judges ordered the Trump administration to fund the SNAP program, even though the Trump administration said that it has exhausted funding for it because it doesn't have access to newly appropriated funds because of the government shutdown, because there's no funding legislation in place. Now they're going to start, the government announced that it is going to, it has about half of the money that it needs to fund this, to fund the current food stamp or SNAP benefits, and it's going to start making payments of about half of what would normally go out in the next few days. So they have made some progress in that respect. There's still a standoff in Congress over funding the government, and the standoff is, as Democratic leader Jeffries has and other Democrats have admitted, is because Democrats want a subsidy to continue for Obamacare premiums, and Republicans counter that Democrats want the American people to continue funding health care for illegal aliens. Now, some people will say, illegal aliens don't qualify for, for Medicare or Medicaid, for federal health care assistance, but the thing is, many state governments use federal funds, healthcare funds, to fund their healthcare programs, and so the money trickles down to the state level, and it does get used to provide healthcare benefits for illegal aliens. So, both sides are really at each other's throats right now, and it doesn't seem like a resolution is going to happen anytime in the near future. some Democrats have said that they will vote to reopen the government after November the 4th, which is today, I guess, when there are elections, off-year elections in some states. There are hotly contested elections for governor in Virginia and in New Jersey, and there's the big race for mayor of New York City that are going to be voted on, I guess, today, and that Democrats, once those elections were passed, there was some discussion that they would vote to reopen the government and fund the federal government after that happened. We'll have to see what happens. But right now, the two sides are not. They don't seem to be making a lot of progress, and it's really not clear what happened. Right now, there's a lot of finger pointing. One side's pointing at the other, and the other side's pointing back.
Yes.
And they are not in agreement on what's going to happen with the funding at the moment. And
Yes.
We'll have to see if they can cut a deal in Congress anytime soon.
Yes, thank you very much, Matthew Adam, for sharing that insight. We will be eyeing that in NewsX World. Now, please stay with us as we stay in the region. Now, moving on, Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has praised UN Human Rights Commissioner Volker Turk for his recent criticism of U.S. airstrikes in South America. Maduro has called Turk's comments a step forward for international law and regional stability. Turk had earlier condemned U.S. strikes on alleged drug traffickers as unacceptable and a violation of human rights law. Maduro has stated that Turk's statement was a welcome change and that the world needs a human rights chief who defends international norms and opposes crimes threatening the Caribbean. Let's in fact listen into what Maduro has said.
Esta semana pasada hubo una declaración de Volker Turk, alto comisionado de derechos humanos, al cual hemos criticado mucho nosotros de Venezuela. Ha hecho una declaración de verdad feliz de Volker Turk. Hay que reconocer en justicia que ha puesto los puntos sobre las IE y nos parece un avance importante. Ese es el Volker Turk, ese es el alto comisionado de derechos humanos que necesitan los pueblos del mundo. Con ese Volker Turk vale la pena hablar y entenderse. Un hombre que defienda el derecho internacional, los derechos humanos y esté en contra de crímenes como estos, que amenazan la vida de los pueblos del Caribe, pero amenazan lo más grave, la paz, la estabilidad de nuestro.
Meanwhile, Venezuela's Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello has said that the government of Trinidad and Tobago has taken a stance against Venezuela. This comes as earlier this week, Venezuela denounced a military provocation after Trinidad and Tobago hosted the warship USS Gravely for joint exercising with the United States. Let's listen into what the Venezuelan Interior Minister has said.
El gobierno de Trinidad, tristemente para el pueblo de Trinidad y Tobago, han asumido una posición de ser un frente contra nuestro país. Frente. Históricamente, Trinidad y Tobago tiene con Venezuela buenas relaciones, extraordinarias relaciones. Nosotros hemos sido agredidos por Trinidad y Tobago de mano y de voz de la señora que es primera ministra de Trinidad y Tobago, que no le ha importado el tiempo de buenas relaciones. Todo eso tiene que ver con quién es chantajeable y quién no es.
Now we welcome back Matthew Adam. He's an American journalist, joins us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you, Matthew, for staying with us. Now, looking at this, could this diplomatic tension signal a broader shift in alliances and influence across of South America?
The tensions between, I'm not sure about a shift in alliances, but tensions are escalating between the United States and Venezuela right now over the Trump administration's policy of attacking alleged drug running boats of Venezuelan narco traffickers and killing the inhabitants or killing the passengers on those boats. Venezuela claims that they're not drug running boats, that they're fishermen, or at one time they said that, which doesn't seem like a very credible claim. The pictures I've seen, they look like speedboats, and it's not the sort of thing that you would catch fish on. Nonetheless, people are concerned that the United States is acting unilaterally and attacking and killing these people without having authorization for Congress or without a state of war, being declared between the two countries. So it's mostly that President Trump doesn't have legal authorization from Congress to do this, that's upsetting people. And this has made Venezuela move even closer to Russia, which it's been asking for, it's been requesting, weapons from, greater military assistance. And, and President Trump as well has been putting pressure on Venezuela. He's been doing some saber rattling, saying that he may take action against Venezuela directly. I don't know if that's going to happen or if that's just, a threat to get the Maduro regime to play ball and cooperate with the United States with respect to these drug running boats. But things are definitely heating up in the northern part of South America. You also, Colombia doesn't have very good relations with the United States at the moment either. And that, it certainly didn't help when a few weeks ago, President Petro of Colombia came to the United States and urged American troops to mutiny. He said that they should not follow the orders of President Trump. And I think that his visa was revoked, or he was not sure if he was declared persona non grata, but it was made clear that he wasn't welcome in the United States if he's going to be urging U.S. troops to mutiny against their commander-in-chief. So, tensions are heating up in that part of the world, and if anything, it is pushing Venezuela closer, more into the arms of Russia, which is, we're not at war with Russia right now, but it's definitely not a friendly country. It's definitely hostile.
Yes.
And America doesn't like Venezuela getting closer to Russia. So, tensions, I think, are only going to continue or probably get worse, at least in the short term.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Matthew Adam for joining us and sharing that timely insight from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much. Now we stay in the States. New York City's mayoral candidate